The spending crisis is real. I just helped a family, and I sat down with them, husband and wife, both 40 years old. Their kids are a little bit grown up. They make both $50,000. They have $55,000 saved in their RSP. I asked them, how much do you think you need for their retirement? How much do you guys think you guys need? So I showed them the math. They need to keep their lifestyle at 65 in their bank account. They need $2.7 million. Who has $2.7 million? Not many people, right? Not many people. So we have to get people to the $2.7 million. But guess what? Every single year for them to take out part of that $2.7 million for the rest of their life from 65 to 85, I'm thinking most of us are going to live up to 85. They need to take out $157,000. What's taxes on $157,000? Big amount as well. So not only do you grow your money, you need to keep your money, right? So that's the retirement crisis. Spending crisis, actually education crisis. The government just took away OSAP. Sorry, the grant for OSAP for the lower income family. So that's going to be something that we have to take a look at. I know I'm giving you guys a lot of problems, but there are solutions as well, right? So that's why we want to offer you guys. Next step is a spending crisis. Man, we spend so much. I don't know about you guys, but so I'm from Vietnam, so and I work with a lot of the Filipino community, and they buy this thing called the Salad Master, right? It's like a $5,000 pot and pan. I'm like, what's so special about pot and pan that you have to pay $5,000 for? Beats me, right? But people just love to spend, right? Any chance they get, they love to spend. So we have to control that. If you guys have social media, Instagram, Facebook, fancy dinners, fancy cars, fancy vacations, destination weddings. When do we get so fancy, right? And just to impress people that sometimes we don't even like. So that's the obstacles that are ahead. So these are some of the situations. I know maybe it's too far for you guys to see, so we're not going to go over it. We'll skip it, but as you can see, there's a lack of financial literacy. Let me ask you this. Let's just talk about this. Let me ask you this. What's your tax minimization strategy right now? None. We all have accountants. You guys all did your taxes. You guys should be doing your taxes because tax is done next. It should be filed by next week, right? What's your tax minimization strategy? Who's having that conversation with you? Or are you just going to your accountant or going to your financial advisor and they say, hey, put your money into an RSP and TFSA? There's over 40 different strategies that you guys can use to reduce your taxes that no one's talking about. And guess what? Me coming from an accounting background, I audit all the other accountants. They have their masters in tax. I even talked to my CMA professor. They don't know because they don't focus on it because it doesn't make them money. They focus on companies that are grossing at least $50 million and above. How about us, right? You need someone to help us, the everyday people. I was looking for myself. Because I was looking for solutions. I know that there's a problem, but I always look for solutions. You guys come to Canada for solutions, not for more problems, right? And we have to identify those problems first before we can find the solution. So, the solution is lack of knowledge. And, we want to provide that for you guys. And we have free workshops that you would pay thousands of dollars for. And trust me, when I thought it was free, I'm like, this is a steal. I would pay for it. Being part of a CPA, I'm paying for thousands of dollars every year into my education because I have to, right? And, as you can see, we believe in financial education. We want to help you make money. That's very important, right? How do you make more money? I survey even accountants that are making $100,000 a year. I surveyed them. And, one of the reasons why they're not meeting their financial goals is because of lack of income, lack of knowledge, lack of ideas of where to put the money from. I look at some of the providers, the companies that are here. It's very innovative, right? Like there's a lot of different strategies out there that people are not looking into, right? So I can't wait to hear from those guys. Make money, number one, and then number two, save money, right? Save 10 to 20% of your paycheck. Accumulate a big amount of money. It doesn't matter about income. Yes, income is good, but it's how you spend it. I see a lot of families making, average $40,000, $50,000, but they have $100,000 saved in their bank account. I see people making $250,000 and they're negative. They get a bigger job, they get a bigger house. They get a better job, they get a bigger car, right? So be educated. Knowing less can cause you more, right? So let me ask you something. This is a tip for you guys, and go home and use it. Most people, who here puts money into their RSP? No one? You do? He does? Okay. So most people tell you to put money into your RSP monthly, right? You do RSP contribution, all that stuff. But guess what? You know what? RSP is a great vehicle, but you know what I don't like? Control. You lose control and flexibility of it. Why don't you do this? This is called recycling of registered accounts. Okay? So if you put money right now, why not put money into your tax-free savings account? At the end of the year, then you can reassess and say, hey, you know what? I need to put only $10,000 into my RSP to reduce my tax bracket. That's all I need. I don't have to put any more than that. Or what if you say, hey, I only need to put in $5,000? Then you only put $5,000. Because the money inside RSP, it's taxed later on. And it's stuck in there. I hate money that I can't touch, right? But if it's inside a TFSA, guess what? You put it in, you lose your contribution amount for that year, you used it up, you don't lose it, you use it up, you pull the money out, you put into your RSP at the end of the year, guess what? Next year it refreshes again. Oh my God, you have control over your money, you have control over your taxes, you have control over your retirement. Did you know that you can actually take out money from your RSP and give yourself a mortgage? Right? He knows. Most people don't. They just get that money stuck in there and then they borrow the bank's money. And most people won't tell you. Guess what? Because if they told you, you wouldn't leave your money in your RSP. Because then the bank makes money. The bank only makes money when you put your money into the bank. So why would they tell you this stuff? So those two strategies, if you actually understand and with a little tax planning, you can save hundreds and even millions of dollars over your lifetime. That's the difference between knowing, right? So we have a mission to motivate. And, we want you to have understand how money works first. What's the next plan? How come most people, like even my mom, she had a plan to come here and then she didn't have no other plan? What's going on? We come to the land of freedom, opportunity, and then we have no plan. What's going on? And then we had to cut down our expenses. I just use Netflix now. I cut the cable, right? Even home phone. Like, Mom, you don't need a home phone. My grandma has a cell phone. My sister has a cell phone. You have a cell phone. Why do we need a home phone, right? Reduce your debt and liabilities, like cars and credit cards. Absorb it. There's other things to do. And then lastly, increase your cash flow. Big important thing. I love cash flow. Have 7 streams of cash flow. Hey, an average millionaire has 7 streams of cash flow, right? You never know when you're gonna lose your job. You never know when your business is gonna go down. Have multiple streams of cash flow, right? Do you like eating with a lot of variety? Like a lot of variety of food? I like variety of income too. Variety is the spice of life, right? It gives you flavor. So, now we're just looking for people to be part of our campaign. We're just asking people, hey, we want to educate 1 million families by 2020. That's our mission. Since starting this campaign, I helped many families, and I helped them by letting them help themselves. Because you can't help somebody if they don't want to be helped. So we give them textbooks, workbooks, free financial education workshop. Like for example, this coming Monday, we have a class on credit score. Do you know that having a bad credit score, you can't get some jobs? It's crazy. You can't get some jobs in the financial industry. Some people, like I try to help them, they couldn't work in the financial industry. They can't get a sales job because it's commission-based, right? They can't get a house, they can't get a car, they can't get access to a lot of things if you don't have good credit score. It's better than my report card, right? I thought my report card was good, but it's not good enough, right? So these are the classes that we provide. These are our core classes. We always have advanced classes as well. So the core classes, number 1, increasing cash flow and debt management. Just from that class alone, you can find an extra $500 to $600 of extra cash flow that you didn't know you have, right? Then we talk about insurance. Insurance is a big part. I just saw that Warren Buffett, $64 billion of his dollars is in insurance. Insurance is the final piece to building wealth that's tax-free. The rich use it, the poor don't buy it because it costs money, right? And because we don't understand it, and that's okay. Building wealth and asset accumulation, and then retirement planning, and then the roof to everything, estate planning, right? Who are you gonna leave your money to? Who are you gonna leave your kids to? There's a lot of things you can do with that to save some money, right? And we are in the era of informed consumers. We want you guys to know there's no trick here. If you understand, it's better, right? Like, if you ever went shopping into a store, like for me, I go and buy a bed. The guy tells me the price of the bed. I go on my phone, I look at the price. I'm like, okay, he's telling the truth. Because you can find everything on Google. You buy a car before you even go to the car dealership. You know the price, you know the color, you know the package. Then you just go negotiate, right? You want to be informed yourself. So, that's, and so in today's age, We want you to learn for yourself. So we don't have, we're not working for a specific company. We connect you with those companies, but give you the education. So when you have it, you know exactly what to get. For example, most people, if you're looking at your investment right now, it's going at 2, 3, 4, 5%. Well, why not put your money to the NASDAQ? It's just an index. It's something very easy. Or if you want real estate, but you don't have money to buy real estate, why not put your money into a real estate income trust? Those companies take your money, they invest into real estate, and then they pay you a profit that they get from rental income, capital appreciation, etc. And you can do it for $25 a month, right? So when we connect you with those companies, that's how we make money. You want to get insurance, we help you with that, that's how we make money. We have a powerful business platform that makes us unique from all the other financial industry out there because we help you market as well, right? So if you can see here that in 2016, over 4,700 associates made over $100,000 of income. Guys, I was making $100,000 my job. I was just doing this part-time helping families. And I just love teaching people. I teach people how to win. I won for my own family. And I did it part-time. So after 6 months, I generated $300,000 of income. And I asked my boss, hey, CFO, this is what I'm doing on the side. This is accounting. What do you think I should do? He's like, well, accounting is always here. But business opportunity might not be. So why don't you go ahead and try it? And in the long run, it's going to be more lucrative. Am I saying this is for everybody? No, it's not. It's hard work. It's not easy. You have to want to win. If you don't want to win, Netflix is very good on Saturdays. But I know you guys want to win. You know why? Because extraordinary people love education. Ordinary people love entertainment. And you guys are here to learn, right? I take every opportunity to learn. And you guys are here to do it, right? And it's raining outside, and that's why I really appreciate you guys letting me share. It's actually an honor. I actually help a lot of people in the the African community. I just helped someone from Nigeria yesterday with some business planning. He opened up a roofing company, and I was trying to help him grow his business, and I love seeing that. I love people seeing out there trying to make life better for themselves, right? But it's not only work. We get to travel and have fun as well. So last year, our company took over 4,500 people to Vietnam. I'm from Vietnam. I've never been to the north, middle of Vietnam before, but not only me. I got to go with my fiance, my mom, my sister, my cousins from Vietnam. The year before this year, in 2017, we went to Paris and Italy. And we got to see, the Pope because there's 4,000 of us there. This year in September, the company's taking us to Greece and Israel. There's over 6,000 people that's going to Israel, and they're building a platform. And it's the first time there's a big group of 7,000 people going to Israel. So now they're like, it's taking them a whole year to plan because logistically, it's not going to fit right now for them. So they have to plan it out for us, right? I'm going to end it off with this. Life's all about choices. We chose to come to Canada. What are we going to choose to do next, right? What's your next 5 years going to look like? And guess what? Facebook is going to be really good at reminding you. In the next 5 years, like, hey, this is what you did 3 years ago. Hey, well, this is what you did 10 years ago. If nothing changes, Facebook is going to be a reality for you. And I know that, when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you look at is probably your phone. So Facebook's going to let you know if you're good or you're not good, right? So do something today, right? So number one, I want you to save your future by learning about how money works. Make income on a flexible schedule, right? It doesn't have to be with us. It could be anywhere. As long as you're making income on a flexible schedule. Get rid of your debt, right? Debt is a big burden. I seen my mom stressed out about debt. I see my mom and dad before they, left each other, but they were fighting because of money. I can see this strain, just her sitting at the table with so many bills there, and she just gets mad. Right? And so save for your children's education and your own retirement, right? Build your future, right? If you want to, hey, transition to the career in the financial industry like I did. And I didn't know how much the financial industry pays until I came into it. And actually, if you talk to anybody at the branch, like TD, CBIBC, whatever, they don't know how much the financial companies make because they're just working there. They're not having their own business, but it's actually quite lucrative, right? High margin, low cost. That's what you look for in a business. High margin, low cost, little overhead, a proven system. Why else would you start a business, right? Lastly, you get to do something big. So right now I'm looking to do something big in the US. The US is so much bigger than us, right? You know the state of California, there's 35 million people, that's the whole population of Canada. Right? So you talk about market size, entering the market, man, it's so crazy in the US. I'm so excited to get there. But hey, what I'm asking you to do today is just learn for yourself. No cost, right? No cost, come to our campaign, come to our education, learn to see how we can help you help yourself, right? Because once you understand, you don't need us. We just want to make a difference. So just to go over again, our mission is to help build and protect wealth for families. And we want to help 1 million families by 2020. And Scola, I'm going to let Scola share how the campaign has helped her and what she's done with it, right? Because for me, that's okay, but I want to let you guys hear what Scola has done and how the education has helped her increase her cash flow and save money at the same time, and then she can wrap it up. All right, guys? Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you so much. He asked me to share, right? Yeah, so before I went to this company, yes, I'm a single mother, those who know me. Have 2 girls, and raising 2 girls by yourself in this country, it's not fun, right? So I worked, first job, when they came in, I used to take my bus, I used to ride it, I was comfortable. But when they're here, one of them is a musician. I have to run from work, take her to her music programs. I could not afford to do that. What next? I had to buy a car. Extra expenses. What happens? I had to think of getting another job, which I did successfully. So now I have 2 jobs. But guess what? At the end of the year, I lost all the benefits, right, for them because my income went high and, I could no longer fit in that category to be helped by the government. So it's all on me. Okay, so what did I lose? Was I home to see my children do their homework? No, I did not. I did not have a chance to help them because I'm running around. I'm stuck in there. Drop the part-time job, the income won't be enough. And so I was stuck. And guess what? Still at the end of the year, the government taxed me heavily. Now I had to I was scared to open that mailbox every time because whenever I opened that khaki envelope is in, I would get my pressure raising. So, and again, that makes you so busy. You're stuck in there, you're busy, you work, the money comes from this hand, exits through the other hand. So, when I went to this company, they were presenting, it was about retirement, and the presenter was from the government itself. So, he told us about CPP, old age security, everything. And what hit me, he said, he showed the figures that you would get when you retire. And I was comfortable that even if I'm not saving, remember I'm making a lot of money, but because of taxes, again, it's not coming in my pocket, it's going out. So he said, to get $1,170 something, that was the maximum as per 2017. That is if you worked in Canada for 40 years. That is if you saved the maximum. How many of you know how much even CPP is deducting from you? Is it 4% or is it 9%? Do you know if you are contributing the maximum or you are contributing just the minimum? So to qualify for just $1,000, I needed to have worked in Canada for 40 years. And I looked at how many years do I have in Canada, when did I come, and how many years left for me to turn 65. Will I hit it? No. I looked at old age security, how much do I need to qualify? I still needed to have lived in Canada for 40 years, which I did not have in order to qualify for $500. So even if I qualified for both, right, the maximum, $1,500, would that be enough for me when I turn 65? Or I want to get there for 1 year and come back to work. I don't even think I would last for 1 year. I just want to do a simple math with you. Get out your phone, please, if you have it. Yeah, I'm going to be quick. It's just 1 minute. 1 minute. Yes. Okay. the average savings for a Canadian is $55,000 by the time they retire, the average one. So get $55,000, we expect you to live for 25 years, divide by 25. 55,000 divided by 25. You have the math? 2,200 divide by 12 because it's going to be distributed in each month. How much do you have? Do I have 55,000 in the account so far? No. So what? The math is yours now. So go back and think about it. So anyway, finally, when I came to this company, first I had to cut those jobs. I sat with advisors and they showed me a plan. First, last year, instead of losing money, I got back $8,900, almost $10,000 from taxes that I had been losing towards the government. It came back to me. For more to that, come to the company, learn for yourself, help yourself. You must want to help yourself. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So we have 4 experts here. Each and everyone is going to reintroduce themselves, tell us why they are sitting on this table, and what they hope that we can learn from them. It is a conversation between them and us. So I'm going to start with Mr. Mugenyi Noah.
Thank you, my brother. Sometimes they say ladies first, so Esther, am I okay? First of all, I would like to really extend my sincere appreciation to Kevin. I know you were saying thanks there to another gentleman. Kevin, I just wanted to really, as a community leader, I just want to shake your hand. Thank you so much for your knowledge. I do believe that people talk of knowledge as being power. In my opinion, knowledge is actually powerful, but action is so paramount. And you challenged me what I'm going to do even after hearing your conversation. I'm a little bit advanced when it comes to money saving, RSPs, TFSAs, and now we'll be hearing from my brother here, David, about other investment opportunities. So, but I definitely really appreciate Scholar. Where are you? Thank you so much again for really bringing, yes. Solome, where are you? I know I'm just calling you like, that's my aunt, I just want to acknowledge. And Godfrey Sembeguya is my uncle, and I respect this family because they're my family here. They're like my parents' representatives in this country. This is a great opportunity, community members. For those of you who know me, or brothers visiting from the US who may be not knowing all both my names, I'm Noah Mugenyi, born and raised in Uganda. I've been here for almost 10 years. My background is in aviation. I trained as a flight engineer, air traffic control, and flight operations. And I did that for a couple of years, working for the government by the King of Dubai. When I came here, I worked for the Air Force for like a year and a half before I made a move to go back to school. And that's one thing I want to emphasize before I even jump into my talk about mental health and wellness. That when we come into this land, sometimes we lose time. And I want to emphasize how important time is. And I think David will be expanding on that. Time is so crucial, and sometimes we forget that each day that passes by, we lose opportunities. The question I have for you as we think, I want to project to your head, is where am I? And that can be subjective. Where am I right now? And that can be personally, relationally, professionally. Where you've been is not so much something I want to focus on so much. I look at that as side mirrors, and I'll be expanding on that. It's good to know where you've been, and when it comes to cultural background and all of that, it's good for us not to forget that. But when it comes to losses, past experiences that are negative, it's not so much actually something I recommend as a clinician to focus so much in the negative past experiences. The other one is, where are you projecting yourself to be tomorrow? I know the Bible says that let us not worry about tomorrow, but to be practical, living especially in a westernized world, we live in a country whereby everything has to really be kind of projected. Your rent, your kids, if you have any, going to maybe school, your investment. We learned about money here. And this is so crucial that you understand where you are, where you want to go. I want to focus my talk of mental health on what I believe to be my philosophy of clinical counseling. Mental health is so crucial in that, think about it, if your thought process, if you think of something negative, what do you think is going to happen to your feelings? And I want this to be more of a conversation. I don't know if we have the moderator. Where is the moderator? I would like to know if we have some other microphones, or we want to save the conversation and questions for a later time. Yeah, going back to my point of mental health and how crucial it is to your holistic approach and wellness, is that what you think, chances are, is going to be what you feel. And therefore, your actions. So if you think negative, be it thinking about money, thinking about what's to come tomorrow, which may generate some feelings of anxiety and stress, chances are you might actually respond to those feelings, if they are positive or negative, in a way that's either maladaptive or self-destructing. For some people, I like to think of my focus here in Toronto. People know me as the clinician that really focuses on trauma, PTSD, and addictions. So sometimes we end up really responding to these feelings and stressors in negative ways. You might just turn to a bottle for a drink, and that becomes 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm mentioning that for the purpose of reminding us that Uganda, in 2005, according to the WHO research, was rated to be the most drunkest place on the planet. Can you believe that? As we speak, it is Nigeria, followed by Ghana. So Africa still needs a lot of awareness, a lot of education, not only on mental health, but money, managing money, investments, and all of the other opportunities business-wise. Let me turn my page to my approach of treatment. Let me point you also, before I go there, for those of you who might need some information, this is my stand here. The clinic is called Toronto East Psychotherapy and Psychological Services. And when I say we, I opened this clinic 4 years ago with a mission and vision to attend to the needs of our community. As you know, and I'll be probably mixing in some Luganda at some point, when you go to see a physician that doesn't really understand you, culturally speaking, there's a barrier. And for me, I wanted to close that gap as a clinical counselor and psychological associate. Right now, as we speak, I've opened up 2 more other clinics. This one here, the head office is in the East End, 181 Carlaw Avenue. That's at the intersection of Queen and Carlaw Avenue in the Leslieville area. The second one, my second clinic is at King and University Avenue, right at the financial district. And then the third one, which just opened up 3 months ago, is in the Beaches area, right at the intersection of Queen and Woodbine. Those are some of the conditions I listed there that I treat. I have 2 associates that happen to take over when I'm not there. I'll reference that making money makes sense, right? And feels good. But sometimes you don't have to really make money by being there yourself. And we will hear that from all our other contributors. So I opened up that clinic with that vision, not only, helping my community, but also with that focus of making a living. And as we speak, for those of you who know my background and profile here in this work, I worked in the hospital setting until last November, and then I handed over that role, just focus on my clinic. I get referrals from CAMH, from the Ministry of Health. I look after all the Canadian forces, the military who have gone through traumas and PTSD, the police, the firefighters here. And if there's any questions around, probably you'll be asking around any condition you might be going through, a condition that you may have gone through. It could be even way back home, an experience you witnessed. These are some of the things I want us to really start a conversation, a dialogue. For those of you who come from Uganda, know Butabika Hospital. This is a psychiatric kind of setting whereby only people who had clinical and severe mental health would be sent. As we speak today, if you look to your left and to your right, you count 4 people, one of those 4 people has a mental health condition. It may not be diagnosed, but that's the reality. On this table, one of us may have a condition, and that's me, right? It could be stress, right? I definitely mean it. It could be stress, it could be anxiety, it could be traumatic experiences that you have never attended to. So I really, really want to bring the awareness of mental health to the grassroots, that this is going to start with us talking about it. There is no wrong, there is no problem in really saying, yes, I have an issue. For those of you who have been so close to me in the past 1 year or so, I've gone through my own challenges in my relationship. Somebody might think, as a psychological associate, how can that happen? Yes, I've lost 2 brothers back home, and one of them happened to struggle with addiction and drinking. So I'm really open about this, because it will only be through these conversations that we shall overcome. In terms of my contribution to you today, I want you to leave this place with your level of awareness in terms of mental health raised up to a certain degree, your sense of self-care raised up to another level, and tools to self-regulate or having a plan to move forward. Mr. Luyombia tusanyisa okulaba ssebo. And the more you gather these tools, try to keep them in your toolbox. Because when you have a toolbox, you will respond to the needs of your situation accordingly. Going back to the message of knowledge being power and action being key, if you have your toolbox with tools to use, you will respond to those conditions, either psychologically or physiologically, in a better way, other than turning to a bottle, or for some of the people that we've seen turning into self-destructive behaviors like gambling and others. Stress. That stress is one of the greatest threats of our land as we speak today. We leave our homelands, we come to this land with big dreams. At least for me, I know that. I don't dream small. If I have a small dream that doesn't scare me enough, it's not a dream. So we come to this land, we start families, we go to school, we start a job, and that's the notion, the norm. You go to school, find a job, buy a house, get married, and then life goes on. But that's not the reality of life. Life is not on a smooth, straight path, as you know that. It has its bumps, ups and downs, right? But it's how we deal with those bumps and ups and valleys from a psychological perspective, from a physiological perspective, but also from a spiritual perspective. And that's my approach to treatment. What's your stressor right now? I know you will ask me questions, but I want to pose that question to you right now. What would you consider to be your greatest stressor? Is it financial? Is it personal? Is it relational? Or is it professional? Is it something that's beyond your control? Is it here? Is it back home? What is it? When you know where you are, I'm bringing you back to my opening, you will project where you want to be tomorrow. Knowing your surrounding, your needs, will help you to understand the actions you need to make in moving forward. I believe in that treating mental health requires a lot of approaches and support systems. Personally, when I treat somebody or when I assess somebody for any condition, I don't believe I'm going to be the single-handedly person to take over this problem and then allow this individual to walk out of my doors done and healed. I consult their family doctors. I look at their family system. I look at their needs. So I look at the problem or the issue from a global perspective. And then I look at their skill sets. I work from what I would call or term to be, we all have strengths and weaknesses, right? But when I assess somebody, I really work from that modality whereby I know you have something in you. Let us build on that. Because when people come to me, they are so low, they're at the end of their rope sometimes, be it relationship, when I do couples, individual work, they're stuck, which I turn to really call stuck points. So we work from that aspect that you are a part of this process to move forward. Way before, in the 40s, psychologists used to look at themselves as problem solvers. You come to me, I solve your problems. Nowadays, the schools of learning teach us that you, yourself, you have the solution within you. You may be stuck, you may be lost. My job is to guide you and support you from that strengths-based approach towards your wellness and realizing your goals and dreams. What's your stress? What's your stressor today? How big is it? Who can you reach to? Speaking also from a perspective of taking on courage to start this business. As you know, Canadians and our counterparts in the States, starting a business is not so easy. I think Kevin mentioned it. It's going to stress you. It's going to require you to have a plan. It's going to require you to have some strategies. It's going to require you to research and maybe probably continue educating yourself to advance in betterment of your business. There are going to be moments of lows and highs. There are going to be moments of losses and lessons. But what I can say, every idea, every dream, for it to mature, takes the first step. Takes courage, but it takes that first step. I look at success, my business here, and I've opened up a couple of businesses, and I will speak about a couple in a couple of minutes. But there is no businessman, even my brother here, as an investor, that will tell you, I've never experienced a loss in a business. None. But I should say that as you go through those losses, they teach you something. They teach you something to learn from so that you don't repeat the same mistakes. And I've been through those. If you are a young person in school or kind of having an idea to start something or a business, it may be a different kind of approach to the business. Yes, we can talk. And I can share some of my lessons so that you don't repeat them. But I can say that be okay with that mentality that you can fail, but The point is that, can you get yourself up and walk again? The other point I wanted to raise before I hand over the microphone is the good news I received yesterday. Some of you in the community on Buganda Kuntiko, I know our chairman is here, Mr. David Richard Rasa, sorry. He just stepped out. Mr. Richard Rasa Sebo Oyo Abera Mukulu Wange, Musajja Wante. That's our chairman on Buganda Kuntiko. So I wanted to recognize you. That I've been writing a book on mental health and partly my memoir. It just came out, got released yesterday. So before you leave this place, I'm not going to allow you to leave those doors without getting your copy. It's online right now. You can get an e-book. You can order it online. But that would be one tool that I would definitely love to share with you. Finally, I wanted to speak briefly about a non-profit called Kanafre Community Initiative. I launched that organization in 2004 in Uganda, in a rural district, with a mindset to eradicate poverty, but only to realize that people were not willing to work together. After a few months, we sat down together with the community leaders. We came up with a model to really work together in unity. And my hope was that if people can work together, they can achieve bigger things. And the moment they realized that dream, now as we speak, the community is developed into almost 8 villages, using the same model, using the same tools, helping one another, sharing the seeds. And now they have started a cooperative. The focus was more on bringing people together, but we've realized that the environment is being revived, peace building is being revived, and the focus was on food security, helping grandmothers and orphans, for those of you who know the epidemic that we went through after the war and the HIV.
Thank you so much, Noah. The food is almost ready, but before we go for the food, I'm just gonna ensure that we finish the introductions, so that way we can go for food and then come back for a conversation. I know some of you already have a lot of questions. It's going to be interesting. Stay engaged. But I'm gonna go straight to engineer, then I go to the real estate mongo, and then we shall go last to Dr. David. So, engineer.
Good morning to each one of you guys. First and foremost, it's an honor and a pleasure to join all of you guys today. I want to thank my good friend, Mama Ptmof. I don't know where she is. Solome, thank you so much for organizing this event today to bring together the community across the board. To Mr. Kevin and Scholar, thanks for the information you shared earlier on today. My brother, Noah Mukenyi, thanks for that information as well. It's powerful. This is the type of conversation that our communities across, both in North America and Uganda, really need. And I know it's a tough conversation, but it's very much needed. To the chairman of the local community, Mr. Richard Rasa, it's a pleasure to meet you today. We actually are from the same clan. Nangendu wante sebo. So, ndi musanyufu okuba nga ndina mulwa leero. I'll be combining both Luganda and English, just so there's a good flow of information. My name is Julius Moulia. I'm a resident of Seattle, Washington. I think on this panel, I'm the least expert among the experts that we have. But I'm excited to share a little bit about my story, and I'll summarize that story quickly. 10 years ago, I finished university. And when I finished, I had no idea what exactly I wanted to do. I had studied civil engineering, I had studied environmental engineering, and I had studied political science. I'd got 3 degrees. with no idea where to go and what to do. But through mentorship of people, I was able to get into design and construction. And I became a civil engineer, became a project manager, and now I'm a vice president in a company in Seattle, Washington. But the opportunity where I think it counts, as an immigrant community, how do we set up a business? Not just in the US, not just in Canada, but even in Uganda. What does that process take? What are the resources of people that can support us, that can help us make sure that that happens? So today, as we get into our conversation, I'll be talking to that and speaking to that in what it has taken me and a couple of my partners, both in the US and Uganda, to make sure that that happens. The second part today as well that I'll be sharing, I'm glad that Mr. Noah Mugenyi has published a book. I'm also publishing one that is coming out in a couple of weeks. And the book is titled Kabaka Kintu. Many of you growing up, I think, heard of Kabaka Kintu, the story on how he came to our region, where he came from, and the experience in how he was the first king, and that process on what happened. So I do have some copies today that I'll give out freely afterwards. And the inspiration behind that for me was, I was in Uganda 3 years ago, and I was visiting family and friends. I do charity work in Uganda, in Rakai. I do run another nonprofit called Harambi, and we do build schools in Rakai. And when I was in Uganda, I visited a couple of friends, and whenever I went to homes of people, and I asked the kids what they were watching, they were watching Hollywood movies. They were watching Hollywood movies. That was their inspiration. That was where they were getting their knowledge and information from. They were not reading African books, they were not watching African movies, no. That was their view of the world. Our history has been lost because what we have done well has been oral stories. We haven't done a good enough job at writing. So part of my talk today will as well be talking about what do we need to do to write, to get content out, and to motivate our people to actually read and watch the type of content that they can read. And then lastly, 18 months ago, I joined and got elected as Vice President of UNA. UNA is the Ugandan North American Association, a non-profit that is mainly in the US, but supposed to be in Canada as well. So, and I came today, I was in Vancouver recently, Vancouver, Canada, and I was having the same type of a conversation with the community in Vancouver, Canada, in what we can do different to get into the communities. What does that mean to empower our people? Because we keep on seeing the other communities, the Ethiopians, the Eritreans, the Jewish communities. They have been able to be not just immigrants in this country, they've been able to support one another and be there for each other along the journeys. So part of my tours, I've been in 10 different cities already in the last 10 months to make sure that that happens. So those three will be the things that I'll speak more on tonight, actually this morning, not tonight, this morning. And I'll be waiting to interact with each one of you guys and get more details. But it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for organizing Mama Ptmof, and we are honored to join you guys. A good morning once again.
Thank you, Engineer. Good morning, everyone. I would like to thank Mama Ptmof for organizing this occasion. I'm excited to be here. When Solome, I'll refer to her as Solome because she's my personal friend, when she asked me to come and talk, I said, okay, number one, I don't like speaking in public. Number two, I don't. And she goes, listen, it's a business meeting and you're a business person, so just come and tell your story. So I'm basically here to talk about my story. I've lived in Canada now 17 years. Ouch. Yeah, when I initially came here, I didn't have a plan. my plan when I came here was no plan. I just came to Canada. So I was here, but I was brought up with a mentality of making things work. I am somewhere, I'm in a situation, I may be there intentionally or unintentionally, but I make it work. And I always make it work for the better. So my husband and I lived in an apartment for some time, a very, very long time. In that process, we had to pay bills. We had rent to pay, we had hydro to pay, we had everything else. We had phone bills, and we had a baby on the way. So I didn't have a work permit. Most of you know the story when you come here. You have to find a way to make things work. I joined a group of friends that I met along the way, and we found some jobs to do. Jobs that I wasn't really willing to tell my mother I was doing. You see, I have a master's in education from Makerere University. I was teaching in Rwanda at Green Hills Academy. I really had a good job before I came here. So I got here, found myself here. I had to make it work here. So I found a job. I was sending money back home. I was doing really good, but I wasn't proud of my job. I didn't want anyone to know what I was doing except, of course, the people I was working with. So I looked for a way to make it work. In my not being able to stay home with my child, because she was just 7 months old, you know. On one of my trips back from work, I met my very first employer. I'll call him my very first employer because he offered me a job in an office. The way I look at it, if I wasn't away working, if I wasn't away doing something, I may not have had that opportunity to meet him. So the fact that I was out working, he didn't know I was working. He thought I was still home nursing my baby. So he offered me a job and said, listen, can you come to the office tomorrow? I was like, the office? Are you kidding me? So I got to the office and I was told, just answer phone calls. Okay, I'm a go-getter. I taught myself the business. I wasn't going to sit there and just answer phone calls. So I picked up the phone and I learned from people on the other side of the phone. People called, asked for things, and I taught them. Sorry, I learned from them. They taught me what to do. Before long, I moved up. I was now no longer just a phone girl. I was doing things. I was making good money. It was really good. But it wasn't really something that I wanted to do. I wanted to do more. I wanted to make my time at that office work. So I told myself a lot more. Time is going by. We're still living in an apartment in Toronto. We have a baby on the... Sorry, we already had the baby. Another one, no, not yet. Thanks, Suzanne. So what happened was we tried to find a way to make more income. I wasn't happy with the way things were going, neither was my husband. He decided to go to school. It was hard. And you know, when you come from a better job to a new place, you don't know what to expect. I knew I'm in Canada, things are supposed to be better. It's the white man's land. It's the place where we're supposed to have greener pastures. But then again, the North American dream is there. And you will realize it if you make it work for you. You have to make it work. So when my first job was, I don't want to call it terminated, I just couldn't work there anymore. I just figured I wasn't going to go back to the job I was doing before. So I had made a few friends when I was working at the office, and I'll call it the office because trust me, the job I did before, I wasn't proud of, but I had to do it because I had bills to pay. So anyway, I had to make it work. I looked at what I wanted to be. While I was working at the office, I didn't have time to spend with my daughter. So I was working, my daughter was in daycare, and she fell sick most of the time. When I stopped working at the office, what I decided to do was get a job where I would be able to spend time with my child and still make some income and be able to pay the bills and be happy. So what am I going back to? Making it work for you. And that's what my story is going to be based on. How do you make it work for you when you're in such a situation? Wherever you are, you don't sit down. The dreams are there. You have to keep them alive. You make them work for you. So in my case, I decided to go and learn about something that was related to what I was doing at the office. I decided I wasn't going to live in an apartment anymore because my daughter had grown up. I wanted something better. I visited a few friends who had some houses, and I wanted a house with stairs in it. I didn't want to live in one floor, you know, just from the bedroom to the kitchen to everything on one floor. I wanted a house with stairs. I mean, that's what the American dream is all about, right? You come here, you go to school, you buy a car, you buy a house. So what did I do? I decided to apply for a mortgage. Went to the bank, got a mortgage, went out there, looked for a new house from a builder. I didn't want a used house. I didn't want to live in some house someone else had lived in. So my husband and I moved to Oshawa. We had lived in this apartment for 7 years. We were now month-to-month tenants. I told the landlord we bought a house, we are moving. We were month-to-month, so he told me I had to give him 60 days notice, which I didn't do. I mean, I was a good tenant, I wasn't late on my bills. After the 7th year, we moved out into our new home. True story. 2 months into our new house, we are now living the American dream, right? We own property. 2 months down the road, I hear a knock at the door. I go to get the door, and who's there? My previous landlord. And I looked at him, I'm like, I know this face very well. He had parked, I don't know what kind of car it was. It was more like, it was slick because he parked on the road, not in my driveway. He parked on the road. It looked like a slick car. It was very nice. I couldn't tell the make on the side, but it looked really expensive. And he goes, oh, Esther, so you thought you could run away without giving me my money? I'm like, your money? He goes, yeah, you never paid me the 60 days. You were supposed to give me 60 days notice. If you don't give me 60 days notice, you have to pay an extra month of rent. I'm like, no way. He goes, yes, you thought I wouldn't find you? I'm like, what do you want me to do? Because I didn't want him there. What do you want me to do? He says, I need my money. I'm like, fine. Where can I find you? He gave me his address. Because that time in the apartment, we were dealing with a superintendent. We always paid the superintendent. So I wrote that last check. I thought I had written the check before I left my apartment. I wrote another check to him, and boy, I was mad. I'm like, there has to be a better way. I paid rent for 7 months. I'm in my house. I'm still paying rent to this. That last month, I paid the last month, but I never gave him 60 days notice. So I had to pay him an extra. And by the way, the apartment was rented out the day we moved out. So I said there must be a better way to doing things. I learned about the real estate market. My job is to educate everyone. If you can pay rent, you can afford a mortgage. It may not be a big mortgage, it may not be a fancy house, but it's your house. I believe in real estate because I believe as long as you're alive, you need a place to stay. So are you paying your own mortgage or are you paying someone else's mortgage? Real estate. Real estate is beautiful. There are many things you can obtain from real estate. By the way, I'm also with WFG. So when Kevin stood up to speak, and I'll tell you why, I'm always learning. I'm always learning. I learned about owning property the first time from my sister, Sarah. Sarah, please stand up. Sarah Lubega. Please stand up. Please clap for Sarah, and I'll tell you why. Sarah has a daughter called Jennifer. Jennifer and my daughter Ebony are very good friends. Every time we went to Jennifer's house, which is actually Sarah's house, right? You know, kids say it's my house. Ebony liked running up and down the stairs. So she goes, why can't we have a house with stairs in it? WFG. Sarah taught me about WFG. I'm always learning. In this business, in this world, if you want to make it, you always learn. Whether you're a doctor, whether you're a ninja, whether you're a teacher, whether you're Simone. Simone is still a student, but she has a business. So as long as you're making money, you need to know how to plan for that money. I'm also a real estate agent. Sorry, I'm also a mortgage agent. Why am I a mortgage agent? Most of us cannot afford to buy a house cash. It's different. In Uganda, you buy land, then you can build as you go along. Here, you need a mortgage to buy a house, unless you're one of the lucky few who can afford to pay cash. So the reason I joined the mortgage industry is because the two are interrelated, mortgage and real estate. Most of my clients I would refer out to someone else to get the mortgage. And they'd still come back to me because I'm the professional. I was told I need to save money. I was told I need this. I was told my credit isn't good. I was told I need a cosigner, you know. I was told I have to first pay off this debt. So what I did was I educated myself. I learned the business. I was back in school. I got my mortgage license. The other thing I do is I provide after-sale services to my clients. When you buy a house, something might break down. When you buy a house, you might need to do renovations. So I have a client database. Once a month, I'll send out an item of value, and I brought some items right there at the table. Some of them talk directly about your property, your real estate. Some of them are just things to get by, like how to declutter your space, how to spruce up your house with new paint. If you're planning to sell, what you need to do. If you want to buy a second property, what do you need to do? So basically, any questions to do with real estate, with mortgages, what you need to do to get a house, I'm here to answer any questions. God bless you.
Wow. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are we doing? Can we change and say fantastic? How are we doing? Fantastic. I see some of you are looking at me and saying, you're telling me to say fantastic? Do you know what is going? Do you know what I'm going through? In life, we speak not where we are, but where we want to be. That's why even in the Bible, God said that let the poor say, I'm rich. The weak say, yes. So that's the way we should. But you find somebody, ask them, how are you? I'm hustling. How are you? Things are not good. Somebody says not bad. That is a double negative. Not is negative, bad is negative. Yeah, so my name is Saturday David. I'm a dentist by profession. And I've never worked. You people, you're talking about work. I don't know what it means to have a boss. I've never gotten one. And I don't think I will ever need one. Every morning I wake up with the boss. I see the boss in my mirror. I'm a Ugandan, living in Uganda and Dubai, and around the whole world, I can say. Most of you, your story started when you came here to Canada, maybe to US. Me, my story began when I left my village to Kampala, to the capital city. And maybe most of you have connections. Mine is, I think I have the best connection. My best connection is Jesus. Because even in Kampala, I don't have a relative in Kampala. I left my village to the city with no relative. I'm here, I don't have a relative here. So I'm actually a true definition of you can make it, whether you have people or not. Thank God you're here. You can start from wherever you are and just start mushrooming, and you go on. And I'm a firstborn of 8 siblings, coming from a poor background. People, they usually quote it humble background, but the truth is poor background. So that's where I come from. And when I look at my background, I've broken many records. The whole of my genealogy, my great-great-grandparents, they were poor. They passed over poverty to my great-grandparents, who passed it over to my grandparents, and my grandparents passed over to my parents, and my parents were ready to pass it over to me, and I said, no, 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 no. I said, enough is enough. And I know most of you were like, no, no, enough is enough. The Waganda called it kamanyiro. I was like, I don't want that kamanyiro of poverty, poverty, poverty all over. I said, I need to start something, and it has to start with me. And my dream was to become a doctor. And through school things were not easy, school fees and the rest, but I thank God I ended up becoming one. And before even became, while in the medical school, I was still struggling making ends meet. My story in the medical school, I don't remember getting a meal card. You know meal cards? You get a meal card once you've paid. I never got one in my entire medical school life because there's no semester which I finished when school fees was fully paid. So it was a struggle all the way. But I was hopeful. Inside me, I knew the person I wanted to become. Not even the condition or the present situation could silence me. So I know every one of us, we know who we want to be. We can't settle for average. And of course, by the time I finished school, I was already thinking outside the box. I want you to tell your neighbor that whatever you want, tell your neighbor, whatever you want is outside the box. So start thinking outside the box. Yes, so that's my mentality. I never think small. And I was introduced into a concept of network marketing while I was at the university. You've heard about network marketing or multi-level marketing? So that's one industry that opened my eyes because it introduced me to people that were willing to love me unconditionally, irrespective of where I was from, what I was. And it was a bunch of people thinking positive, thinking to achieve something out of their life. And I joined them. I didn't know how to sell. And whatever they were saying, yeah, you know, they were focusing on becoming somebody. And to cut the long story short, that was in, I think, 2005. I was in my second year at the university. I remember by the time I finished the university, I was already driving my first car. Now, for some of you, most of you Ugandans, you know, you don't have mortgage. We don't have mortgage in Uganda. You buy a car, you must have paid for it. So, of course, I remember my first time to be in an aeroplane was 2008. And my first visit, my passport was going to UK, in London. The company I was working with, they were celebrating Golden Jubilee, 50 years. So that gave me a wider thinking, not believing that my world is where I am, where I was. So I fell in love with traveling. Then I kept on doing businesses. Then I got married, got kids. Life became sweeter. Then along the way, I lost money. Boom. Now, I needed you, but you are not there. but I'm here now. And I went through that. I lost money. Then when I lost money, then also my relationship, you know, relationship goes hand in hand with money. That's right. Also, she also left me. So I was alone with kids. So for some people who think money is not important, I think you don't know what you're talking about. Everything rotates on money. Rotates on money. And I liked, I think I will enroll online because I need that financial knowledge and intelligence. Everyone needs it. Some people think, money is not everything. Excuse me. Without money, you can lose your marriage. Because I lost it. So I'm a true testimony on that. So then I made some more, then I went down again. I've been in a roller coaster, and I usually tell people you can never learn at the top. You always learn and listen when you're down. And I've been down a couple of times. That's why I'm a good student. Probably people who are not here, they are still up. Their time will come when they are down, and they will even look for you. Like for doctors, there's no doctor who looks for patient. It's patients who look for doctors. So that's life. And I've been in business, network marketing, but 3.5 years ago, I was introduced into a concept that changed my life completely. I have a friend of mine, he's from Italy. He gave me a call on Skype. He said, David, can you get online? I said, okay. I got in line. Was like, I want to share with you something. This gentleman is a millionaire. Now, I don't usually listen to everyone, but I listen to millionaires. Because I want to become one. And I was even telling her that we met last year through her sister. I was going to South America, to Panama. Then we connected. I was at Sheraton, we met. Then I shared with her the business. Then after I went, but I was telling her, you've made me lose money because she's good in real estate, and that's part of where I invest. I was like, if we had come closer earlier, then I would have made more money by now. So I tend to listen to people who have what I need. Because whatever you need, somebody has it. And this gentleman asked me, he said, have you heard about cryptocurrency? I said, no. I'd never heard about cryptocurrency. He said, have you heard about Bitcoin? I said, no. Then he was telling me another cryptocurrency. I said, have you heard about this one? I said, no. He said, don't worry. I will make you understand. And on Skype, it took like 25 minutes. By the end of 25 minutes, I didn't understand anything. But in the middle of the presentation, he kept on saying, don't worry, that's where the world is going. Don't worry, this is the future. Don't worry, that's where we are headed. And I didn't get worried, even when I didn't understand. Because I knew, as long as I was willing to understand, then, like Bill Gates said, that the secret to success is detecting where the world is going, and you get there fast. So I was like, since that's where the world is going, I think I need to pay attention now. By the time it is there, then I'm already there. So I listened. Then he sent me a presentation to start sharing. And initially it was tough. I started sharing with people cryptocurrency, and I could share with someone, have a meeting. By the time I finish, maybe after 1 hour that we are talking, the person says, in short, what were you trying to mean? Meaning that I could even confuse them more. But along the way, I start mastering it, understanding it, and If you're failing, continue failing because you're about to succeed. If you're not failing, you should be scared in whatever you're doing. Failure is part of success. And I failed a lot. And I started introducing cryptocurrencies to governments, talking. Before I even introduced to governments, people were asking me, people who understand Uganda, police was there asking me, so who are you to talk about money? Then CIDs, State House, Central Bank, they were saying, were you sent by the governor? Who are you to talk about where the future is going? But I kept on because I knew cryptocurrency is the future. We are in a global financial revolution where the world is changing from paper money and plastic money to digital money. So I was just telling people what was going to happen. And to cut the long story short, from January 2016 to January 2017, within 1 year, I had made around 1.5 million US dollars. If it visits you, you can never remain the same. Yes or yes? That's right. So from being broke to earning $1.5 million in a year, it widened my thinking and changed everything. And of course, as I was talking about cryptocurrency, people were against me. Then, of recent, our president launched cryptocurrency officially in Uganda. And what I started when it was a resistance, now everybody is embracing it. For people who are following what the recent meeting with IMF, they were talking about even cryptocurrency, and it is the biggest disruption of the 21st century. Because, I'm sorry to say, if there are banks here, banks are going down very fast. And in the next less than 7 years, we might not have banks standing. If they will be standing, then they will not be handling paper money. Because in the next 5 years, central banks will stop printing money. So we are talking about paperless economy. And some people, it's very hard to believe that actually we can be without money, but that's the way. What I have come to appreciate in life, whether you believe or not, things will happen. It doesn't require you. This is not a majority thing. We need to vote. No. Technology, once technology comes, it has come. Like somebody said that when you embrace technology, it will work for you. But when you become sluggish and you don't embrace it, you will work for it. So choose your tech. Do you want to work for technology or you want it to work for you? Today it might not be that, but that's where we are headed. So my short talk is going to be about cryptocurrency briefly. I'm going to present to you a cryptocurrency that I've done for the last 1 year and some months that actually has changed my life and changed the people's lives. I love giving. I know most of you love giving. Can I see people who love giving? Donating? Yes. I love, all of us who have big hearts. But can you give what you don't have? Most people who want to give, they even want the donation first. So you can't donate when you need a donation. So I will just use my slides. I go through it. Can we see there? We start from the beginning, sir. Thank you. So that's me. You can, now, you don't need to see that one. You can look at me. I'm a photocopy of what is there. Then, the next slide, please. Our company is called Success Factory. So at Success Factory, we manufacture success. Any factory, if there is a cement factory, what does it manufacture? Cement. Juice factory, what does it manufacture? Juice. Then Success Factory, what do you think we manufacture? Success. So at Success Factory, we have 3 major products. The first one is called the Dogecoin, which is a cryptocurrency. The second one is called the DagPay, which is a payment system. And the third product is called Skillex, which is an education platform. I fell in love with whatever they are doing. They are educating. Now, in Uganda, now there is a saying, like, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. Then if you don't know, you don't know. So that's our education platform. Now, talking about education, ladies and gentlemen, looking at our education system, you will believe with me, it has become an employee factory. It is dilapidated. It is unfortunately broken because the education system our great-grandparents went through is the same our grandparents went through, is the same our parents went through, it's the same we went through, and the same our kids are going through. And maybe 30, 40 years ago it was important, but today, ladies and gentlemen, it is irrelevant. I was telling people, right now, you don't need to study about geography. To teach our kids geography, for what? They can Google everything. We studied about Canadian prairies. People who told me they have never been to Canada. I don't know what they were teaching. You get what I'm talking about? But now, we studied about photosynthesis. What is photosynthesis? Who? Anyone? What is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is the process where the green plants manufacture their own food. That's... Now, am I interested in the plant making its own food? Or I'm interested of how I can make my own food? You get what I'm talking about? I need to learn how to make my own what? Food. That's what is important today. So, looking at, it has become an employee factory. Everyone, maybe 20, 30 years ago, it was about, are you educated? If you're not educated, then you're low. That was then. Today, it is no longer there because everyone is educated. And actually, many people, most of you are overqualified. Here, engineer was saying he has how many degrees? 3 degrees. But 3 degrees for what? People have, now, today, it's no longer all that important. Because education it cannot help us today. We need to do an overhaul. We need to learn what is happening today and also where the world is going. And of course, it has created a 9-to-5 slave. Those who don't get jobs like us, we are lucky. Yes, if you don't have a job, you're lucky. But those who get jobs, the unlucky ones, now they fall into the other category of 9-to-5 slaves. They wake up, they report at work at 9 and leave at 5. They do that 40, they do 40 hours a week, 40 years, expecting to get pension of 40%. And now there is nothing like a job that is permanent and pensionable. Maybe in Canada, but back where I come from, they give you contract. Before you finish your contract, you are terminated. Does it happen here? No, this is a stable country, maybe. Now, there's no education about money. All of us, we wake up looking for what? Can you say money? All of us, we wake up looking for what? Money. But which school do you go to learn about money? And people talk about economics, professors who teach economics, they even need more money. They are talking about things they don't understand. Economics is not money. These are people who talk about the real finances. You get what I'm talking about? So here we teach you what it is, what money is, how it works, how to invest, what if, where, when, and also the future of money. Now, you cannot talk about the future of money without looking at the history of money. Do you know money has also evolved? Because we started from barter trade. The days of Jesus, they didn't have paper money. From barter trade, then we went to metal coins. From metal coins, we went to paper money. From paper money, we went to checks. From checks, we went to Visa and MasterCard. Then we went to online banking. Then we went to mobile payments. Today, we are going to cryptocurrency. And trust me, ladies and gentlemen, we are not going back. Tell your neighbor we are not going back. We shall never go back to barter trade. We shall never go back to checks. We are going into cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency began in 2009. After what had happened in 2008. Do you remember what happened in 2008? Credit crunch recession, you remember? What brought credit crunch? It was as a result of central banks having violated the law of printing money. Because money was always backed by gold. Before printing money, you had to bring gold, then they print. But that was violated by the that was violated by the 37th President of the United States, Richard Nixon, in 1971, when he wanted more money, but he had no gold. Do you know what happened?
Let's give him a minute.
Yes, when he wanted more money and he had no gold. And as a president, remember, you have all the powers. Then he ordered the Federal Reserve to print more money, which caused a lot of what? Inflation. And of course, when the US did it, China did it, Russia did it, Uganda did it, South Africa did it, everyone did it. And they are still didding it. Everyone did it. And they saw that they were not ready to stop printing more money. It was going to become a vicious cycle. And that's when cryptocurrency was created. Because with cryptocurrency, they have a fixed supply. You cannot print more. Once you start with what is limited, you go by that. Instead of increasing the amount, what is fixed increases in value. Are we together?
That's right.
Are we together?
Yes.
Please nod your heads.
Yes.
If you're with me, nod your head. Yeah. Even if you're not with me, continue nodding so that I can finish very fast. Are we together?
Yes, we are.
So that's what happened. Yeah. And of course, when it happened, when he did that, let me try to follow the slides. Let's continue going backwards. It's okay, you're doing it right. That's right. Can we give him a big hand clap?
That's right.
Wow. Wow, wow. I think your evening is on me.
That's right.
Yes. So that's what happened with the financial world. Cryptocurrency came in 2009, and the first cryptocurrency was called Bitcoin. You go behind? Was called Bitcoin. How many of us have heard about Bitcoin? Yes. Now, whether you've heard about it or you've not heard about it, it is there. That's right. You're not knowing, it cannot excuse you. So when it started in 2009, yes.
Right there.
Good. This was the Richard Nixon's shock that happened in 2009 and reduced the purchasing power of $1. If you had $100 then it would do a lot.
That's right.
Then, of course, with cryptocurrency, there is a fixed supply, fast transactions, low transaction fees, there is advanced privacy. It's so successful for everyone, and there is also global connectivity. With cryptocurrency, you don't need to carry money.
That's right.
Next. Then, of course, cryptocurrency was supposed to replace paper money from 2009, according to what I've told you. But then, why did it fail up to today? Why cryptocurrency has failed? There are two reasons. One, transaction speed and transaction fees. We'll talk about speed. The cryptocurrencies have been based on what we call blockchain technology. How many of us have heard about blockchain? Yeah. Yes, blockchain technology. That's when most of cryptocurrencies are based. And the first one, Bitcoin, their blockchain can do 7 transactions per second. 7 transactions per second. That's why Bitcoin, even when it is the best and the highest cryptocurrency on this planet Earth, not owned by any government, it can never become a global currency. Why? Because this technology is limited. People who do transactions with Bitcoin, it takes long. Imagine 7.8 billion people. If everyone was to pay using Bitcoin and serve 7 people per second, some people will take 10 years their transaction to be approved. The next cryptocurrency, Ethereum, can do 25 transactions. Then the best blockchain can do 3,000 transactions per second. Still 3,000 is not good enough for the entire world. Then talk about Visa. Visa can do 56,000 transactions per second. That's why everyone can swipe. But sometimes you swipe and they say transaction what?
Failed.
Declined. Why? When it is declined, you know that you're not among the 56,000 people who swiped at that particular time. Then you do it again, you get a chance of being in.
That's right.
Do you understand?
That's right.
That's how it works. Now, that's why we need to focus on the right values. And what are the right values? We need to focus on the users, usability, technology. It should also be trusted. Any cryptocurrency that cannot be used like the Canadian dollar, it is wrong. Because cryptocurrency is money. But, of course, after many people failing, then they are into trading. Trading was not meant for cryptocurrency. And that's why we are saying Dogecoin is going to become a game changer. Can everyone say Dogecoin?
Dogecoin.
Please.
Dogecoin.
Now, first, the reason why I want you to speak, I told you I'm a dentist. In dentistry, we have a condition called halitosis. Halitosis is a situation where people smell the mouse. Have you ever had somebody, they talk and you feel like,
That's right. That's right.
they smell the mouse?
Yeah.
It is caused by not engaging your mouth.
Yeah.
So when I tell you to repeat after me, I want you by the time we finish here, you don't smell your mouth. Excuse me. Can you say Dogecoin?
Dogecoin.
Now,
He's a funny guy. Enjoy him.
Dogecoin, this is going to be a game changer. And why? I'm not saying Dogecoin because I'm marketing, but we are looking at the facts.
That's right.
The reason why we are going to become a game changer is because of the scalability. We have a new technology called the Dogechain technology. With our technology, we do unlimited transactions per second. We can handle all the entire world's transactions instantly.
At the same time.
If I were you, we would clap.
That's right. That's right.
We do all the world's transactions. Then also, the transaction fees. If you're to buy a cup of coffee of $3, you swipe with Visa, they will charge you $0.145. Then should you buy it with Bitcoin, they will charge you $1.45. Then should you buy it with Dogecoin, with our technology, they charge you $0.005 US. So we are not only cheap, but we are also very fast. So we are here as a game changer in the crypto world. Now, we are from Estonia. Estonia is Northern Europe. Estonia. And Estonia is the most technological country we have today.
That's right.
It's the hub of technology. You can Google that after here. Skype was invented by Estonians. Estonia is the first country to do e-voting. There's no country that has succeeded in voting online. Estonia very fast. Estonia, the technology used by banks to transfer money globally was invented by Estonians, TransferWave. And also Estonia is the first country to offer e-residence. You can become a citizen of Estonia online. Yes. And you know TaxFi is from Estonia. So we shall be the most easy to use and the most stable cryptocurrency. And of course, we launched late 2016, then we launched again 2018, then this year we celebrated our first year anniversary in Dubai. So we are as just new as you see. Now, any cryptocurrency, they have a fixed supply. We have only 9 billion coins to be shared around the whole world. Based on first come, first serve. So far we are in 192 countries. with or without you.
That's right. We have to do it.
Yes!
We have to do it.
192 countries. And I personally am in charge of Africa. I head the whole continent of Africa.
He's our brother. Let's clap for that.
And I've opened 23 African countries. So I'm never home. I'm always checking from one airport to another, then from one 5-star hotel to another.
That's right.
From one meeting room to another. That is my life. And I love it.
That's right.
And of course, we believe that this is going to become a global currency because we have the technology which no any other cryptocurrency has. Because any cryptocurrency that is based on blockchain, it will never become a global currency because the best blockchain can do 3,000 transactions per second. And next, we believe that the more you learn, the more you earn. Now, I will put it in the other way. Your bank balance is directly proportional to what you have in your head.
That's right. That's right. I believe so.
Look at your bank account. That's exactly who you are. So don't confuse people that you know much. And don't confuse us that you are an expert.
That's right.
Your bank balance will tell us exactly who you are.
That's right.
And that's why one of the requirements to come to Canada is not, the major one is your bank balance.
Yes.
Like me, I'm not a resident of Canada, but my bank balance makes me be here.
That's right.
And makes me be around the whole world.
That's right.
You understand?
That's right.
It's not about your books.
Yeah.
What you know is directly proportional.
To your bank account.
Yes. So ask your neighbor, how much is your balance? Okay.
Right there.
So you can go back a little bit? Yes. So we have different packages, how you can come in. Remember, 9 billion dark coins to be shared around the whole world based on first come, first serve. The reason I'm here, I'm not telling you how smart I am. I'm here to tell you that actually if you can think and you know you want to be in the future, then get some coins.
That's right. Now.
That is if you want. That's the bottom line. Get some coins. We have different packages.
Yes.
The highest is 34,000 US dollars. The lowest is 350 US dollars. But I'll give you an example. The first package of a master, 34,000 US dollars. If you bought it last year in January, it would give you 1.3 million dark coins. Today, you get 108,000 dark coins. Why? Because when we started last year, the value of the coin, the value of the coin was 0.02 euro.
0.0.
2 cents of a euro. Today, we are 23 cents of a euro.
So it's climbing.
So actually, if you had invested in last year, today you would have made over 1,000% return on investments. That's why the next set of billionaires will come from cryptocurrency and technology. That's why Bill Gates was shifted. Bill Gates became a billionaire. Who is the richest man now? Yes, Jeff. Because he owns software, he's into technology. Came all the way from nowhere to become #1 because of Amazon, right? Shopping online. Bill Gates because of Microsoft. The Alibaba guy. Technology. We are not in the industrial revolution, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
We are in technology. So, of course, as I end, our cryptocurrency, this is to be used as money. The next slide. Because we believe we have three fundamental values. Stable and predictive suitability of merchants, safe for long-term investors. So this is a currency that you can use on every day. Next. With your phone, you will have what we call the DAG wallet. Next. On your DAG wallet, we are going to be the first cryptocurrency to be used like money. You download, instead of carrying the card, just your phone, you swipe, you do like this, you scan, and you're good to go. You have the money. It is usable even today. We are not waiting tomorrow. Today, we have companies that accept DAG coin as a mode of payment.
Some restaurants.
Restaurants, real estate. That's why we need to talk.
That's right.
You get that?
That's right.
Next.
That's right.
You send money around the whole world. Now, we have our ecosystem. Looking at technology, you have payment cards. You get a card where you can do everything. DAG wallet, you can send an SMS and it is done. You don't need to send money, you send a message. That's right. It is done. Then, of course, web wallet. Then you go to financial services. Little bit behind. The financial services, we have DAG plus ATM machines. We are going to be the first cryptocurrency, the company, to have ATM machines around the whole world for DAG coins. Then, of course, behind, exchange, Swipex. It's an exchange platform that is working now. If you have the coins, you can exchange them to Canadian dollars or our local currency or buy any cryptocurrency. This is money. You can exchange it from your phone instantly. Then you talk about crypto loans. We are the first company to have a loan because banks don't understand us.
That's right.
Actually, we are here to kill banks, to kill Western Union, to kill MoneyGram, so they are not excited about us.
That's right.
That's why if you came, you want to talk about cryptocurrency, they will shut you up. Because they know we are the biggest threat. Because we are slowly pushing them out of the business. And we are the first to give the loan. If you invested, let me say, $20,000, you buy the coins. After a few months, maybe you want money. The company can give you cash against your coins.
That's right.
As a loan, they can give you up to 70% of what you invested in cash to solve your problems. As the value of the coin is growing, then when you pay back, they give you back your coins at 0 interest. So instead of putting money in your bank, you can buy coins here as the value is what?
Increases.
Now, even if you don't want to say as it is growing, it will grow. The DAG community, that's what we are building today. DAG community.
That's right.
With DAG community, wherever you're shopping, groceries, paying bills, they'll be accepting DAG coin. And we are registering merchants one by one around the whole world. In the next 5 years, everyone will be accepting DAG coin as a mode of payment. And of course, gift cards. Instead of sending money, you send a gift card. People shop with that. Next. Then talk about shopping, entertainment, gambling, everything. You'll be able to use DAG coin. So that's it, how it works. So everything is already in. What you need to do, you don't need to understand everything. Be like me, how I started, I didn't understand.
That's right.
But I'm here. And I'm the one who actually introduced cryptocurrency in East Africa publicly. Before I came on TV and the radio to explain it, even banks were confused, governments were confused, security organs were confused. Like I always believe, you always need to be the one to begin. If you never begin, nobody will begin. That's my mentality. I did not have to wait to come to Canada to know somebody in Canada. This is how my story began. I just walked into the U.S. embassy. I said, I want to go to U.S. They said, you want to do what? I said, I want to see how I can invest there. That was my response. I want to invest there. Then they said, where else have you done investments? I said, I've done it in South America. They said, have you been there? I said, yes. They said, okay, we have given you a visa. Then I heard there was UNA. I didn't know anyone in UNA. I flew all the way from Entebbe to Los Angeles, from Los Angeles to Seattle. I reached there, I didn't know anyone. As I was walking on the stores, I saw her doing, she was explaining. And I didn't talk much with her. Actually, we came to talk after like 4 or 5 months. She was like, I'm following you and I see what you're doing. How can I also be part of that? Said, I need to explain to you. She said, I will be coming to Uganda. Said when you come to Uganda, come to my office. She came to my office. He said, by the way, we are going to have something in Toronto. That's why I'm here. But I didn't know her. Actually, I disturbed him very much because I wanted to do a presentation. And he was juggling me here. We don't have time. You're not on the program. I said, I'm here. I'm not on the program, but I'm here. But he's been following. Now we are friends. That's right. And I don't know. Then I met Noah. Now he's an amazing guy. He can bring sanity to your heads. That's what he does. Because everyone, like he says, each and every one of us, we have a pressing issue. And you can't finish it alone, trust me. You can't finish it alone. You have somebody you can confide in, and he's the right guy. And you also, when you get a pressing issue, I can also bring sanity to you. So by the way, even psychologists, they also need counseling.
We do. I go to my psychologist once a month. Seriously.
You get what I'm talking about? So that's how life is. Now, you might say, okay, this is not for me. But you have somebody who can relate with me, and we work together. I've not told you how much money I make. That will be on one-on-one when you're interested. But do you see this ring? This is pure gold. And around 46 grams of gold with emerald stones. If you look at it, there is 500,000. This is a 500,000 euro Anna ring, which I made last year. Last year I made around 807,000 euros. So you can call me crazy, you can call me what, but I love what I'm doing, and I change people's lives. Amen. If you think your life is okay, you don't need me and I don't need you. That's but if you know somebody who needs me, then connect us. That's right. Connect us. That's why I'm here. Thank you very much. You've been a wonderful audience. You ask me questions. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. I have this project. I believe God blesses us so that we can be a blessing to others.
That's right.
I have over now 300,000 kids I support in education, single-handedly. I don't look for donations. I have enough money to share with these kids. Now I've built them a school. I mean, that's a house I built for my parents. Next, I love cars more than women, by the way.
Most men do.
In Uganda, I live big. I drive one of the biggest SUVs, like the V8. The car our president drives, that's the car he drives. Then I have other cars. But this is my happiness. When I go, sometimes I go to my school, kids, the way I look at kids, I even feel like crying. That's right. Most of them wouldn't have even gone to school if I had not said come. Right. And all of us, we are here because somebody helped us. You're not here because you had the capacity to be here. So that's why I use this also to give back to the community. From a primary school, next year we begin a secondary school, then I go to a tertiary, then I go to a university. Yes. Then all these people, I will not teach them the same education I went through because it is boring. That's right. I will teach them how to handle finances and how to think outside the box. Thank you very much. God bless you. It's been a nice time sharing with you. Thank you.
With all that knowledge, I can say we are so lucky to be here in this moment. Brother David, I can't thank you enough. With all the other presenters, I think we needed something unique. And I always like to be challenged. So the one message that I like to really, in terms of selling your message, is that you learn, you earn, and then you give back.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks a lot, panelists, for those wonderful messages. We appreciate that. I think mine is just a comment, and it goes to Mama Ptmof. First of all, I would like to thank you not only for organizing this, but I think the message behind what you're doing speaks a lot about who you are as a person, and we want to appreciate you for that. I think my kind of question would be, as we organize this to help the teenagers that are suffering and becoming mothers at that tender age, I think I'm thinking that we should think more about these people getting justice as well, because I feel that we are tapping those that have inflicted this pain to them. We are just tapping them at the back, and they are going on to do the same to other kids. So I think rather than just actually helping them to get what they can feed their kids and how they can raise their kids, I think we need to advocate for justice for these kids so that they are not just dumped. I don't know how you can engage this with whoever is responsible to do this, and we see how we can help in terms of getting them justice, whether it means finding them lawyers to make sure that those that put this to them are held accountable. Otherwise, we commend you for what you're doing, and this commends our respect for you. Thank you very much.
I think that is very, very important. Thank you so much for that comment. I would like to ensure that you give a microphone to someone who hasn't spoken yet, so that we can get diverse ideas. So if you have spoken already, we are going to discriminate against you, but it is an explicit discrimination because we want to hear from other people. So go ahead.
My name is Roslyn. That's my daughter Simona, the one that is absent-minded. About what Esther presented, I took one thing, that if you can pay rent, you can have a mortgage. And I thank you so much for that. But as we were talking during the break, you passed by and said, so many people approach you and say you haven't built in Uganda. I want to throw that back at you. What would you advise us if you're growing yourself here, but not growing yourself back at home? My brother who presented about dark coins, what if you lost your phone? Is there a backup for that wallet? To my brother Noah, you presented about mental health. I would like to ask you, you know the stigma about mental health, especially in the Ugandan, in the African community. Telling people that you have mental health issues would mean you're lazy or crazy. How can you advise the community to be supportive to someone who is going through a situation where they're having mental health issues? I also want to talk about your point on time. Some people, I'm one of the people that lost time, not because of my choice. I am a mother of a special needs child. So I was held down for so many years taking care of my son. Recently, I had an opportunity to get help. So now I have my time. But when is it too late to start? And is it ever late? Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm going to ask the panelists to write down the different questions so that we can go through the audience, and then we shall come back to you at the end. The other gentleman over there, you wanted? Yeah, that gentleman over there. Thank you.
Thank you, brothers and sisters. I was very much interested with the doctor's where he talked to us, but unfortunately, maybe it's a trick, I don't know, because you're a money maker. You didn't tell us your name. You didn't tell us where we can find you. So that stands for us. And when it comes to my brother with the mental health, we have a problem in our African community. We live in denial. That one everybody knows. For example, when you tell an African to take life insurance, he says, hey, nze mfwadi. Take a car insurance, the youngest ajigura ya accident. So, how are we ready to sensitize our community, how those things are important, especially when we are changing from our community there, and we are in here now? What can we learn from here? How can we put it into practice so that it helps us? Like everybody says that everything is possible. If you jump out of that box, you are good to go. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The gentleman here.
Thank you so much. My name is Daniel Cheune. I'm just 4 months in this place. But I'm glad I'm listening to the presentations that we have here. My question goes to the engineer. Thank you for the innovation of the book to capture our history. I just want to have some innovation on your side. It's a common saying that if you want to hide information from us, let me say blacks, then put it in a book. If you could visualize that, probably that's the reason why the young people are going for Hollywood and Nollywood. If there's a way we can make that animation, maybe we could attract them more. And I want to thank the last presenter who gave us a presentation on the cryptocurrency. I'm one person who threw out someone 6 months ago because he labored to convince me to go into it. And this is because I'd fallen a victim of telex and that online financing a few years ago. I had invested money there and the thing was closed before I would retrieve my money. And in addition to that, in that same year, 2018, there was a lot of conflict on cryptocurrency. Bank of Uganda and the president, it was hard to agree. So I had all the reasons to throw it out, but I think you're restoring my confidence when you speak that. However, I don't know whether Bank of Uganda has updated their page, but when I visited the page, they was negative about cryptocurrency. So I think we need to restore confidence in the population about the new products that are coming up. I also want to thank the team that raised issues on finances. Do we just walk in? Where do we find you? That was the WF something. I think it's good information. We all want to get there and achieve our dreams and attain the finances that we are talking about here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mwami Rwasa.
Thank you very much. My name is Rwasa Richard. They call me chairman, but I prefer Sentebe, meaning the same thing. One challenge we have in this century is flow of information. Most of this information you are hearing now is because you are here. And when I sat down, when I came here in 2007, it was hard to know somebody who has lost a relative. Even if he's a neighbor, especially in the Ugandan community. He has just talked of how naive we are in our DNA about certain things, but we are having that barrier of communication amongst ourselves. We started a small WhatsApp group, Buganda Kuntiko, 6 people, 10 people a week. Now we have around 250. And I found out that it has contributed much. Maybe even this convention wouldn't be there. Though the number is embarrassing, but people know that we are here. My point is this one. how do we get this information to people who are at work, in the bedroom, taking a beer? This is a big holiday. When I sat down, I said, okay, I have done all this education. Some of you have mentioned masters, bachelors. But when I realized that, I went back to a certificate level. I did a certificate in media technology at Hamba. Now I'm doing a certificate in audio engineering. Some of you have started seeing the products. I do short-term interviews and people disseminate that information. In the future, I'm thinking of a big studio and maybe internet TV or internet radio. My challenge to you, can you please get my number, 647-766-8264, so that we reach out to our community. Our DNA, my brothers, I'm sorry, but with our skin is naivety. People know we are here. This thing is free of charge. They know they will get the information. As we are talking, I'm sending out WhatsApp clips that you people you are missing. But they will not come. But at night, some of you pass here. They will be paying and there will be no space because of that. And I'm not blaming them. It is us to reach them. I'll get in touch, most of you. My brother has already come to my Humble Digital Ample Studios to talk about what he does, and I receive response. Even if you are far, you can give me a clip of 5 minutes. I'll pass it over, free of charge. I'm not doing anything I'm not charging as per now, but I'm coming to charge you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Here. I'm gonna give a chance to the panelists to respond. Okay, so 3 people, 1, 2, 3. That's it. Sorry, you're very far, and
okay. Thank you, panelists. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Susan. My question, okay, it's just an inquiry about mental health. You made it very clear that so many of us are walking without knowing that we have mental health issues. So what are the immediate signs that we should look out for within ourselves and among the around with the people around us? Thank you.
thank you so much. I hope you got that.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Frank Kombe. Thank you, panelists and the team from WFG, or they're off. Now, my question is, first of all, to my brother presented about the dark coins. And the question is about regulation, because movements of commerce across various borders also bring in the element of regulation, whether for tax purposes or exchange, even if it were contracts. And you have a challenge that you're dealing with a world, a universe where you have so many other variants of bitcoins or cryptocurrencies. Not only that, there's also bans which is now springing up for the battering community, then others have come up and been closed. So how do you differentiate that in each of these movements of commerce across the various borders, as well as the assurance that it's not different from those who have come, gone, or the others swimming around? Then, engineer, you mentioned about, seeking to be the chairman of the UNA, which is like the North American community. And my question is, maybe I'm pitching, but the thing is, we have a community which has various skill sets, apart from the fact that we all need to make money, but you need to sustain it. And the skills help us to sustain the money. Some people are used to the 9 to 5 chain, Others have skills like trade skills, whether it's shipping or developmental projects, which we could use within the community. So I just want to have a snippet, if you could, how you plan to harness because Ugandans are known to be bright and skilled people, but because maybe we are apart, we're not able to realize our potential. So how do you plan to approach that? For the rest of the panelists, I humbly acknowledge the work of the Mr. Mugenyi and my sister Esther, but I have no questions for you right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have one more question. Sorry, I'm not gonna give you an opportunity because we have had so many questions being asked and we want them to respond. And in the interest of time, 1 minute.
Okay. Actually, mine is not a question, but one of the speakers said, if you don't know, you don't know. But me, I'm here to say that I've spoken to all those presenters on a personal level. Really, reach out to them. They have a lot of information that you need. I'm only waiting to reach to the engineer and get to grab some information from him that I need. I want to learn every single day. And I want to confirm that what the doctor just presented, yeah, I already have an account, and instead I want to transfer to the right coin, dark coin. I know the name. I want to transfer to the right one. We are here to win. We came to win. Find that knowledge and use it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The one last question.
Shiba Birunji, aka Nalongo SBK, for those who are on the forums. I'm a certified counselor. My question goes to Noah. Are you aware of the newcomer programs that are happening around? Mr. Rasa talked about the interest of our fellow Ugandans around here. Now you won't see them, or you'll see a few of us. Later you'll see very many of them because the interest is not there. Why? Mental illness. The problem, we think that mental illness is the putting on mineral water bottles on your head and, doing all sorts of crazy things. No. I have experienced in my short time here in Canada, mental illness is real, and it starts with isolation. People don't know where to go, for what, for where, for what time, and such programs, they seem to be above their thinking. So how best can, as a psychotherapist, how best can you narrow it down to create interest in these programs that actually help them, but they don't know that these programs help them? Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think we should start with Dr. Mugenyi because you have so many questions. And
I will
try to be as brief as
I'll pick the ones addressed to me, and I'll leave the others, and if I need to, if we have enough time, which I don't think so, we'll comment on behalf of my brothers. The first one I think that I got was from Sister Rosalind. Speaking of actually the stigma itself, let me start from there, that this is an ongoing conversation. Not only that we might think that in Canada things are getting better, even for Canadians, I can tell you the conversation continues. As I said, I'm taking care of some of our top, educated people in the country, like the military, the police, and all of that, but still, even within these institutions, there's still stigma. So I should say that within our communities, it's our role and our job, and it starts with you. Mr. Rasa had mentioned of how can we really motivate or even share the information. Don't underestimate your capacity and your contributions in the little knowledge you might think, but maybe speaking and maybe sharing with a friend. I think we start from there by really engaging people. Speaking of the newcomers, I know the isolation our sister
Shiba is talking about here. When people come here, they start with a shock of changes. The weather itself, it can be a simple change just to make somebody stay isolated and stay indoors. But I think it's unfortunate we don't even have our Pastor Jumba here today, because there is a project that we are initiating in terms of really finding ways to engage our community members beyond Sunday services, starting with our youth. When I look at the young people here, Muruganda bagamba kacha mamera tekagorora, a tree that bends in its infancy, you can't correct it when it's grown, when it's risen up. So we have to really start by engaging our young people that, speaking of their stressors at school, it could be the homework, or maybe being, issues of, how do they call it, bullying in schools and all of that, so that we create a platform of openness and engaging each and everyone. Denial was another aspect somebody mentioned. He didn't, my brother here, I know, is another Mutorof brother. But yes, you're right. There's a lot of us in our community members, not only actually Ugandans, but my mother is from Rwanda and I speak the language, the dialect, the Rwandese, the Congolese, the Nigerians. And I can tell you that some people are doing much better than we are. Because in my clinic right now, I believe I have a caseload of over at least 15 African people. And I can't say Uganda or what, but at least they're not Ugandans, but they're from East Africa. So we have to really consider, sometimes it's a matter of just giving a shout. I give a 15-minute to 20-minute consult for free of charge. So you can just call me, take me through what's going on. We design a goal of treatment for that matter. And if I have to refer you somewhere, there's a lot of free services that are out there, but people have no clue. I shared with the sister yesterday, let me mention this briefly. Somebody that witnessed an accident, a car accident, going back home, and how that experience could be traumatic for them, but not knowing that there's a service out there. Had she known earlier to call me and say, you know what, I was a witness of this car accident and which involved a death of somebody. There are certain forms that I make you fill. I send them to the ministry. You are approved for over 12 sessions, free of charge. People who just moved in here, have been abused back home, have been lived through traumas and all of that. It doesn't matter what it is. Bring it up, and then let us see how I can best support you. But it starts by really coming out and sharing what that's going on. Mr. Ross, I think I attended to that. Newcomers, refugees, and all of that. In my work, I take care of some of the newcomers in the country. I have a refugee program. I look after people on ODSP and OW. I graduate them every after 3 months, then I bring in somebody. So finances is not something that I should say can get in the way of treatment. Even when you run out of your insurance benefits, and then you are paying out of pocket until your benefits kick in, we find a way of really putting you to a sliding scale. So tell our community members that money is not going to be an issue that's going to get in the way of me treating you. I'll leave it.
Yes, thank you so much. Before we proceed, I would like to let everyone here know that I have a communication from Pastor Eddie, who says that we do have a welcome session next Sunday, not tomorrow, but next Sunday, Dominion Church. We have a welcome session for newcomers. So if you have time, show up. Doctor, go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much. She asked about if you lost your phone, can you access your wallet? Yes. Here, everything is linked to your email. What you need to safeguard is your email. If you lost your phone, you can retrieve everything. And my address, I'm sorry if I didn't, I think I didn't introduce myself. I'm called Saturday David. Saturday, Saturday, David, David. David. Saturday David is my name. I travel all over, so I can be everywhere, but our headquarters globally, they're in Estonia, in Europe, Tallinn. That's where our company headquarters are. Then for Africa, they are in Uganda. Then I have offices in 23 African countries. Then we are here to also, if you say yes, then we shall have also an office here. Already, for now, Mama Ptmof, Solome, and Noah, they are representatives. I can come here anytime you need me. And our goal is to empower. You know, we have 9 billion coins. My goal is to make sure that the Ugandans take the biggest share. Because this is what you should know. If central banks stop printing money, and cryptocurrency will be working, and do you think money will be in banks or it will be with us? It will be with us. So I want to get people who can control this economy. We sit together, we brainstorm, we can come here, then we can dominate. That's what I believe. I don't think we are here to play games. We are here to do what? Dominate. To dominate. One of the things I have here, I need to erect one of the tallest buildings in this city. You're looking at me, you don't understand. You will understand when you see it. Then somebody said about Bank of Uganda, Cheyune, talked about Bank of Uganda. Cryptocurrencies, generally, they are not regulated by central governments. Cryptocurrency is termed as private money. And I thank God today that governments are still shying away. Jack Ma, the Alibaba guy, said that for anyone if they benefit from cryptocurrency, they need to do it while they are still asleep. The moment they wake up, they want to dominate and take everything. So now that the governments are still in a confusion, that is good for us. But any government, whichever comes up with a regulation, we shall follow. And I usually tell people, I don't need to get worried of the regulation. Let me do my thing. Once they are set with the regulation, I will follow. At least I will have what they will regulate. It's better than not having what they will regulate. Antichrist? What is Antichrist? What is... Let me tell you this. Yes. When mobile money, you know mobile money? Mobile money, when it came in Uganda, they said it was 666. Because it was a new technology, people were like, how can you send money in the air? That is associated to the devil. The same with internet. So this is internet money. This is not associated with Antichrist. Okay? Then how to disseminate information, he asked and he answered for it, for himself. Then of course, talking about, Frank talked about regulation of dark coin. Cryptocurrencies, like I said, they are not regulated by any central government. It is private money. Cryptocurrency is about people. If people support it, then it goes. If they don't support it, then they don't. But why we are different, it's our technology. From here, you Google about dark chain technology. Also, you put Forbes, then dark. Last year, Forbes magazine wrote about us, how this dark chain technology is going to revolutionize the whole cryptocurrency industry. Speed. That's why we are here to change everything. Then my contacts, as the answer, I'm going to give you my contacts, my flyers. You can WhatsApp me after here. Okay? My personal contact. You can contact me anytime. I don't have terms and conditions.
Pass it on to engineer for his final remarks, and then you will be the last to wrap up this conversation.
How are you guys doing? Are you guys still having a good time?
Yes.
So first again, all right. I'll be brief in my remarks. I'll start with a question from Mr. Cheyune. Thanks for that question regarding the writing piece. And I've been thinking critically hard on what does it take to actually get our people to read, to write, and to watch our content, but also to make our content. You might have heard of Ugaliwood at some point, where a friend of mine is actually spearheading the effort to create Ugandan movies in Uganda today. When I finished writing the book 4 months back, and I was going through the process of editing and publishing, part of the conversation was how can we create a movie out of it and have that movie be shown and made in Uganda so that our people, our kids, more especially the youth, can actually watch it, because that's where it can most make an impact. And I'm hoping that me writing this book, which is about the first king in Uganda, Kintu is our Adam and Eve, is our Adam, literally. And then Nambi is our Eve. I'm hoping that more of us will write and more of us will read. I have partnered as well with the Earthwork Literate Project. It's a non-profit based in New York. And they're on a mission to build libraries in Uganda. And we're hoping that they're not just going to build libraries, but they're going to put content there for our people to share freely across the board. So we are thinking critically on what does it mean. But above all, as a people, as Ugandans, as Africans, we need to tell our story. We need to tell our story. Other people have done it for so long. We have to find ways to do a better job at that one. Hopefully that answers your question, Mr. Cheyune. Regarding Yuna, from my brother, Mr. Kombe, is that the right pronunciation of the name? Thanks for that question. So Yuna is the Ugandan North American Association, started by 3 sisters in Atlanta, Georgia. And their idea was around Thanksgiving to have a group of people show up, meet, and have a good time, actually. Over the last many years, that idea has outgrown that initial setting to be what we have today. And the main part of it is a convention where I met Dr. David Saturday, and he showed up and he's like, I'm here. I'm here. And I'll have a conversation. That's how I met my good friend Solome Sembeguya and the husband as well. It's through Yuna. I joined Yuna briefly put 3 years ago, and I was coming from doing non-profit work. I was leading another non-profit that was working in Rakai, Uganda. And some of you that know Rakai has gone through a heavy AIDS epidemic. And many people have lost parents, they have lost grandparents. And we made a decision 17 years ago as a family to start supporting the community through building schools. Today we are building a 3-story tall girls' dormitory in Matali, Rakai. And our goal really is to make sure that we are giving an opportunity to these young people and expose them to a world beyond our community in Matali. We have seen that grow. We have seen people that have gone from Matali and they have gone to Makerere University. One student just graduated this past year, and he was the best student in the entire country. He was the best student in the entire country. His name is Robert Kasumba. And when we see the story of Robert Kasumba and we see the stories of other young people, these are people that are growing up with what the Baganda call Owerufu. Owerufu is integrity. And in our country, we need Owerufu, we need integrity of the utmost degree. So I came from that background to join Yuna. I had done that work. I was chairman of a university board as well, the University of Portland. And the question that I was asking myself is, why are our Ugandan communities struggling? And what can we do? Why are they struggling and what can we do? We had seen the Ethiopians, the Eritreans, doing a better job at it than we were. And I was challenged by the president at the time. And he's like, you can do all those things in whatever, but the diaspora community is struggling. We are asking you to come and actually join the leadership team. So that's when I joined Yuna. And over the last couple months, through the struggles that we have been through and the chaos we have been through, a couple of things have been restarted. And we have been able to do a couple of things that I'll briefly mention. One is the Miss Uganda North American program. It was restarted, and it's a leadership program for young women across North America. The first win of that program was a Canadian, actually, from Vancouver, Canada. And it's a program that continues every single year, gives young women an opportunity for 12 months to learn and to grow. The other one I'll briefly mention, we had a convention in Seattle. I was the chairman of the organizing committee, and it was a turnaround convention. We had opportunities for people to go to Microsoft, to Boeing, to Amazon, to look at the technology that Dr. Saturday was speaking about, and how that's going to shape the future that our kids are going to be part of. And also we had an investment forum where more than $150,000 was raised. And this was to companies, people that have ideas, that don't have the resources to make sure that some of these things are happening. So there's a story, a broken story of UNA. But also there's a futuristic story of UNA and our communities. My coming here today and my visits to all the cities I've been to so far is to start having this conversation locally in the grassroots with people, but also to talk with people across the board, professionals and non-professionals as well, in what we can do to build our communities. My agenda through the campaign is focusing on three critical things. The first one is financial independence from the government of Uganda. The government of Uganda is donating a lot of money to UNA today. But we might support the government of Uganda or not, but we can find that money here in the diaspora, and we should be able to do that above anything else. The other one is mentorship of our young people. Many of them are struggling to adapt in their newfound land. We are setting out a platform to offer forums, and number two, to offer scholarships. My team is putting aside $5,000 so that young people that might be struggling to start a college course, they might come to the committee that's going to sit and run this program, and they can get a $5 or $500 scholarship for them to actually get that class and that education. This is where it counts, to give an opportunity to these young people. And the other one is immigration support. Many of us have been there in showing up to a foreign land. You have no idea, you have no family, and you struggle to actually adapt. We are setting out that we're going to get consultants that are going to help people with papers. We're going to get lawyers, both in Canada and the US. Canada for far so long has not been part of UNA, and we want to change that narrative and that story. Those are the three critical parts that my team is focusing on. My team is mainly in the US, but we're trying to create a team in Uganda that my good friend Solome is going to be part of. But also we want all of you to be part of this conversation so that we can move our community forward to a place where it's going to be different from what we have seen for the last many years. So I'm excited about it. We have a convention in Chicago this year. For some of you that can make it, please come and join us. It will be around the Labor Day weekend. And for some of you that can't come, we shall be back here in Toronto soon enough. And we shall be engaging and having conversations with all of you. So thank you so much for the time, and very much appreciated to join you guys this evening.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I'll summarize. My sister Rosalind brought, actually you reverted that back to me. I said that if you rent, you can afford a mortgage. If you're paying rent, it means you're getting money somewhere. Where are you getting that money from? You're either working or someone is giving you the money. When you're paying rent, you're paying someone else's mortgage or you're paying someone's investment. So if someone owns a house, they either have a mortgage on it or they've paid it off. If they have a mortgage on it, the money you're paying them as rent, they're paying to the bank. If they don't have a mortgage on it, the money you're paying to them is their investment. So the house is their investment. Why don't you get your own? You may not be able to start up big. I do have a program, like I said, month to month, I send you an item of value. It talks about how you can pay down your debt, how you can save more money, the types of mortgages that are out there, what you can afford, if you can join hands with someone else and buy a house, or if you can actually buy a house with a finished basement and rent it out. In this case, this helps pay out with the it helps the payments with the mortgage. There are very many advantages to owning a property. The other question you brought about, Rosalind, was that what do you tell people who say that you've invested here and you don't have anything back home? The way I look at it is, like any other investment, real estate is relative. You choose where you want to invest. I live here, so what I would do is, if I don't have any other investment and I'm trying out, I would want to try out with something that I can see, something that is hands-on. I would want to go look at the house, something that I can use, because I'm here, I'm living here. When funds allow, then I would invest back home, because home is home, right? It's nice to have something tangible there. Some of us are lucky enough, you might have someone you trust, you can send money to and they can build for you. We've had stories that have gone a totally different way. So it's really relative. For people who have extra money, you have your house here, you're comfortable, you want to invest back home, you don't know how to go about it. There are other ways of doing it. Mr. Alwasa on Buganda Kuntiko had posted something about, I really can't remember the name of the person, but they build homes. It's more like a company, like they build homes and they can also get you a tenant. I don't know how, I don't know how it works. I haven't invested in it yet. The other thing I would recommend is invest your money where you can see it. If you're not comfortable sending it to someone back home, invest it here. There are very, very many avenues of investing it. You could still, after you have your house, you could still buy another house and rent it out. It's an investment. When it's time to go back home, if you want to retire back home, you could sell the house here. So if someone tells you, Rosalind, you have a house here, you have nothing back home, you could say, well, my answer is that I'm rarely home, I only go to visit. When I'm planning to retire back home, I'll sell my house here and go buy something. So really you can't lose with real estate. Even when the market goes down, look at it this way. You're not paying someone else's rent, you're paying your own. So you're still living in your own house. You cannot lose with real estate. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. I know we are about 2 hours late, but you are free to engage with each and every person on the panel. And I would like to wrap this up by handing everything to Mama Ptmof. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you so much for coming. Our panelists, they're going to get somewhere to sit so that you can meet them in privately. You can stay as much as you can. I don't know how we are going to divide ourselves so that you don't compete with the voices. So maybe, Noah, you can use this table. Esther, you see your bag is there. You can use there. Dr. David, you can stay here. And then engineer. So please feel free. Now, there's still more chai, cookies. I don't know about home test if they still have katogo, so please feel free. Mr. Rasa is also there with the Center Bank diaspora forms if you need an account. So feel free to meet anybody that you still have questions for. Otherwise, thanks for coming and God bless you.